Sir Alex is probably the greatest, isn't he?
What was it like playing under him?
Who's placed one for Michael Owen? Oh, this is incredible! Beyond any time, Michael Owen with his first Old Trafford goal. Michael Owen got Scholes with him, but it's still Owen. Oh my goal! This 18-year-old has electrified the world.
Well, if I'm brutally honest,
So you played with Scholes and Gerrard. Which one would you prefer to have in your team?
Gerrard.
Gerrard.
Gerrard's a freak. Gerrard's just like, he can do anything. He's just too big, too strong, and too fast, and too powerful.
Reece Mennie here, host of Many Talks, Season 5. Great episode. As I've said all along to our followers and our listeners, this season was going to be backed up with some fantastic guests. Growing up, I was big into the football, and one of my idols, England international, is alongside me today. Michael, thanks for coming on.
My pleasure. Great to be here.
Yeah. Great watching you growing up.
Thank you.
What was it like for you growing up?
They were the best years of my life. Growing up, I think, to put it into perspective, I wasn't a sort of a later developer. Let's put it that way. It's not that, nobody had heard of me and then all of a sudden at 24, 25, I started really growing into my body and all things like that. I was there and I was there quick.
Yeah.
And quite the opposite. I had a career that hit the heights really early and obviously fell away slightly. Still playing in the Premier League, still playing for Manchester United at that later stage of my career. But at 8, at 9, at 10, at 14, at 16, I was, right up there with the elite footballers, probably in the world, I guess.
What was key to that?
Well, it's hard to say in many ways. One, I think you're born with something. Okay. I think you're born with a natural balance, a natural coordination. I think it's no secret that most footballers could probably play cricket to a high level. They could probably play rugby. They could probably do a lot of things. So I just think general coordination and balance and speed. I was sort of born with a sporty body, let's say. But after that, then I would have to give a lot of credit to my parents, to what I was brought up in. I think I was brought up in the perfect storm, let's say. 2 older brothers. Yeah. I do think that helps. Most kids, if you're that age, if you're 9 years younger than your brothers, let's say, in my case, you either give up and you don't even want to compete with them and you just play, probably with your sisters and play board games or whatever, or you get up out of bed every day and think, I want to be as good as my brother at football. When he goes to the park, I'm going with him and I'm going to play and I'm going to try to beat it. And that was probably me. I wanted to be as good as my brothers. So I think that perfect environment. My dad was a professional footballer himself, so I was born into a love of football. And I just think that he did a lot of things as well, and my mum did a lot of things. I think my mum was the strict one in the house, and my dad was very much, I never wanted to upset my dad, even though he never shouted at me. I never wanted to upset him, and he had this sort of power over me that I wanted to always impress him. So every time I played football, if I played poorly, he probably wouldn't speak to me for a week until I played next week. Not out of choice, he just
rectified it.
Exactly, and that, I mean, I wish he'd kicked me up the backside or punched me in the nose or something. Having your dad not talk to you because you played poorly. Now that wouldn't have happened too many times.
Just a quick question there. Nowadays, when you look at kids playing sport at a young age, they ask parents not really to get involved and push from the sideline as much. Do you think that is going to affect the game slightly?
Well, if I'm brutally honest, if I thought my son or daughter had a real chance of being absolutely elite in a certain sporting field, I think you've got to be quite tough.
Yeah.
Now, that is probably not the words that the world want to hear, because everybody thinks that their own son or daughter, the sun shines out their backside, and they all think they're going to be a professional footballer when they're 5 years old. The reality is, I knew my son wouldn't be, let's say, and I have turned into a real supportive father. I don't push them in any way, shape or form. I want them to be as happy as they can be and do whatever they want and support them. However, if he was elite at 8 or 9 or 10, I wouldn't have the relationship with him that I do now. I would be really hard on him because I think you have to.
Yeah.
You look at some of the great players, great sportsmen, the Williams sisters at tennis. Have you seen what their dad was like? Have you read Andre Agassi's book? There's countless examples of it, and whether it's your parent, whether it's your coach, but somebody's got to be strict in your life. Somebody's got to really push you. When you don't really fancy it, you've got to be trying to please somebody and somebody's got to have that spell over you that you don't want to disappoint them. You don't want to let anyone down. So I think it's quite a tricky one to
I agree with what you're saying, though. I think, if you're on that path, you do need support and guidance and pushing in the right direction, because that's how you succeed at things, right?
Absolutely.
So going back, obviously, you younger days, when was it you first signed for a professional club? Was it really young?
Well, times change, obviously. The oldest you could sign at a club was 11 years of age, I think. Or the earliest opportunity I got to go to a football club was at 11.
Yeah.
So I played for the county, I played for the school, I played for my local team. The school held all the shots back in those days. If they didn't want, if you had a game for school or for your club,
that come first.
School came first, absolutely. It's only in recent 10, 20 years or whatever, that academies have got the say now. Really, they house them, they parent them, they school them, they do everything. But then my club, or my district, my county that I was playing for, Flintshire Schoolboys, wouldn't let me join a club until I had finished with them.
Okay.
So I got scouted when I was 8, and I had to stay 3 years playing for my county before I was allowed to go to any of those clubs. So the answer is I joined Liverpool when I was 11.
And what was that like? What was that feeling when you actually... or did you know that it was coming already?
Oh, God, I knew.
Yeah.
Oh, there was scouts queuing. When I was 8, I had Sir Alex Ferguson watching me when I was 8.
Wow.
Okay, Manchester's 45 minutes down the road, but Brian Kidd, his assistant, would come virtually, every fortnight, come and watch me. It's crazy. I had Glenn Hoddle, I had George Graham, Arsenal manager, Chelsea manager.
All watching you at 8?
All watching me at a young age.
I suppose that was great in one aspect, but hard work in another, because you still have to, at that young age, the pressure.
Yeah, I'm always hesitant to say pressure. I'm playing football. I'm like doing something.
Love, right?
I love it. Yeah, I just love it, and the excitement of going out to play. I mean, people say, "Oh, how do you play in a World Cup when you're 18 and score that goal?" It's like, well, how can't you? Like, how exciting is that?
Yeah.
I mean, imagine saying to a kid now that's 10 years of age, when you're 18, you're going to be playing against Argentina, a knockout stage of a World Cup, and you're going to dance around them all and score a goal. I mean, it'd be like, oh my word, bring it! I can't wait to do that. That is the most exciting thing. Pressure, when you step back, and when I look at it now, well, I can see what people mean by saying, "Cool, the world, the whole nation was on your shoulders scoring that goal or taking a penalty." I do get it, but when you're doing it, I can assure you that no footballer goes to bed the night before a game thinking, "Oh my word, I'm playing in front of 40,000 tomorrow. What if my touch is?" But they're excited to play football, and if you can do something well, you're excited to. You doing this today, I'm sure you slept well. You've done dozens and dozens and dozens. Correct, you don't get. No, this is something that you're good at. Now, if I asked you to go and play golf in front of 100 people on the first tee, if I asked myself to do it, I'd be nervous. I'd be thinking, "Oh, don't know whether the ball's going left or right or up or down or whatever." I don't really know if I can do it that well. But football, put 1 billion people in front of me. This is an art that I've honed forever. Since I could walk. I was born to be a footballer. I've practiced my life out. I've worked I've lived like the best life, the cleanest life. Everything I've done is to be a footballer. So, and I'm good at it. And that's the bottom line. You can do it.
Going back to that as well, like as you said, everything you've done has brought you to being a footballer. that discipline throughout life, is that what footballers or young footballers need to live, breathe and sleep to make it to that level? If there is young kids that are, there's loads of kids that's dreams to be a professional footballer, right? But if there is somebody that's that good, they've got scouts watching them, what's the bit of advice that you could give them right now?
Well,
from being there and done it.
Yeah, I mean, there's some non-negotiables. You have to live and breathe it. You have to love it. You have to practice it. But you can never feel like practice. So the moment it feels like practice, then I'm not sure about that.
Yeah.
If I have a minute, when I went to school, I'd be keeping the ball up all the way to school. When the whistle went for break time for 10 minutes, 10 minutes is enough to have a good game of football.
Yeah.
Let's get the ball out. Let's get all the lads and whatever, and let's have a game. Finish school, knock on everyone's door. I didn't even have time to get out my school uniform. Like, knock on everyone's door. Let's get to the park. Let's organise a game. It's like, that was just, go to bed. I'm sleeping with my ball, literally. I mean, my ball was my prized possession. If there was a scuff on my ball or something, I would be like, oh no, that's my life, So it has to be your passion. And that's a non-negotiable. Now, things like living really healthily and never taking a sip of alcohol, well, it all helps if you don't. But I could give you loads of examples of some great players. They might have finished early because of this poor lifestyle. Yeah. But I can't say you'll never be a footballer if you drink a beer. Yeah. Of course you can still do it. But yeah, it helps if you're disciplined. It helps if you're lots and lots of things. But the non-negotiables it's got to be your life. You've got to, there's no footballer out there that has just got absolute raw talent and never really practiced that hard and was just so good that he just got picked up. And, everybody lives it. They play in the streets. They play with their bare feet. They play with any type of ball on any type of surface. They're all the same. They're all addicted to playing football.
Going back to, you said, you had a lot of good high-end managers looking at you when you was younger. Alex Ferguson. Who's the best manager that you played under?
Well, I would say Sir Alex.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to, isn't it? I mean, if you debate who's the greatest manager of all time, well, certainly in the Premier League, is it Pep Guardiola? Is it Sir Alex Ferguson? I guess in the Premier League, I mean, Arsene Wenger would get a shout and Jose Mourinho would get a shout, but I mean, it's got to be between Pep and Sir Alex, hasn't it? I mean, honourable mentions. I thought Glenn Hoddle was absolutely brilliant. Yeah. And
as a manager or as a player?
Well, probably both. I didn't really see him much as a player. He was just a bit before my time, I think. But as a manager, I mean, I'm convinced that if he had continued with that, what they call the golden generation, he was obviously hounded out of the England job after '98. I'm convinced that if he had stayed on with that generation, I'm convinced we would have won something. I mean, he was a genius of a manager and still remains like so far ahead of his time. Even when I watch games with him now, I do the television and he's one of the guests a lot of the time. I mean, it's a footballing lesson every time he enters that studio. He's just a fountain of knowledge, and I think probably one of the biggest wastes in our time is that we didn't utilise his managerial capabilities more.
Yeah. So you'd go with who you've played under, Alex Ferguson?
Yeah, Sir Alex is probably the greatest, isn't he?
What was it like playing under him?
Well, you got to remember he was manager at Manchester United for 26 years, was it? I was 3 years at Manchester United, right at the end of his time, right at the end of my career as well. I mean, he was inevitably slowing down at that point. Less energy, less motivation, maybe. I don't know. Maybe the motivation quote is a bad one because he's, he's the most driven person I think anyone's ever met. But you speak to the Giggses, the Scholes, the Nevilles and the Butts and all the rest of it, and they say, when he was right at the outset, when they were coming through, he was just incredible. You get in at 7 o'clock, his car is already there. He's putting the nets up, he's painting the white lines, he's doing the contracts, he's scouting, he's looking after the academy, he's picking the team on a Saturday, he's doing absolutely everything. But Manchester United, 30, 35 years ago, whenever it was, it would have been a big club, but how many employees? Not too many. Now it's just colossal, isn't it? Yeah. Like any other football club. So now the manager is there to probably manage the team. They get a say in transfers. They probably don't get a say in contracts or things like that. So now it's very different, but he used to do absolutely everything. Now, fast forward to when I was there, he very much looked after the first team. He didn't really look after the academy anymore. Hence, probably what you've seen for the last 10 years. Not many, the academy has slipped. I think certain things were probably, by his request, taken away and given to somebody else, given to another department. But he would come alive on match days. I mean, he would say nothing on the training pitch. He would never miss a minute of you training, but he wouldn't say anything. He wouldn't coach us. That's the first team coach. Just stand and watch. Yeah. And he would pull the odd person over for a chat and things like that, but he would come alive on match day. And, his team talks, just his demeanour, you just knew that he wanted to win so bad. Everything he spoke about, everything he did, all his actions it was just a winning culture that he bred. And training was incredible. I mean, training was like a war every day. He had to stop training virtually every day. These players that, you can't have this culture and then just turn it on and off.
Yeah.
You can't go there on a Saturday and run through a brick wall and bleed, blood, sweat and tears and all the rest of it for the cause, and then all of a sudden on a Tuesday when you're just training, you're just a normal person.
Yeah,
it's literally kicking lumps out of each other every day, wanting to win that five-a-side, wanting to win that little possession drill that the
that's
coach
just ingrained right the way through the
all
club.
the way through the club. It was incredible, incredible.
Yeah, good to experience as well.
It was. I mean, I had obviously been at the likes of Liverpool and Real Madrid. I'd seen, great players and winning culture, but that was just different. That was just incredible. What you win every single day, everybody was right at it, and steam coming out you. And in the dressing room afterwards, you'd be thinking, oh, he's going to have a fight with it, or he's going to have, because there was that much animosity on the training pitch for players wanting to win every single day.
You've been at some massive clubs, Liverpool, Real Madrid, United, Newcastle. Where did you enjoy the most of your time?
Liverpool.
Yeah,
I mean,
you was there the longest.
I was there I was at my best.
Yeah.
It was a team I wanted to play for. It was in my blood. I'd been at the club for years and years and years.
Yeah.
If you cut me open now, I'm a Liverpool fan. That was my team. So yeah, I mean, all my great performances, let's say, would have been in that era. So quite naturally, you were.
Was it hard to play for the likes of Newcastle and Man United, being such a diehard Liverpool person?
Not hard. It's really strange when you make your first move. Yeah. When you wear a different colour kit. When I went to Real Madrid, that was weird. Just thinking, I'm going to be part of a transfer. Like, what happens in these transfers? Who says what and what do you do? And, what's it like having a big ceremony that signing ceremony, things like. It's a little bit like, oh my word, I never envisaged this. I just thought I'd play for Liverpool all my life. And then that opportunity came, and obviously the rest is history. So, but once you play for somebody else, to me, it became a little bit more of a job. Playing for another team, like playing for Liverpool, always felt like I'd do it for free, of course. Listen, I'd play for anyone for free anyway. But that type of attitude, you know what I mean? It's like that was just a dream, and it was so exciting. But then once you start moving from club to club to club to club, it becomes, you can't ever go and say, oh, I supported these as a kid, because you didn't. It then is purely your job. You're trying to become most successful, the best you can be for your career. Whereas you don't really think of it as your career when you're playing for your local team right at the start. You just think this is so much fun and this is a dream come true.
Yeah.
But as I say, once you start moving and moving and moving, things come into your head like, are my family going to be happy in this location? Is this great for my career? Am I going to have a better chance of being in the England team? Yeah. What are the finances? You start thinking of all these different things that are almost secondary. Whereas when it was Liverpool, when I was coming through, when I was 17, 8, oh my word. I mean, I couldn't even tell you what my wage was. I didn't even ask my family, are they happy? It was just like, this is the most exciting thing.
This is where I'm meant to be.
It changes a little bit.
Going back to 2001 when you won the Ballon d'Or, it was 22?
Yeah.
Years of age. You said on Rio's podcast you won that, but you felt like you were sort of coming down in your career at 22. How's that when you've won such a grand award?
Just
was what it was.
Yeah. I mean,
Is that because of injuries?
absolutely,
and stuff that
yeah.
started?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, I never missed one match as a kid, as anything. And I had a huge injury away at Leeds United in 1999. I was 19 years of age and basically snapped one of my hamstrings in two. So you have 3 hamstring muscles in each leg, and one of mine ruptured. So, and when it ruptured, when you're running, obviously it acts a bit like an elastic band. So when you snap it, it recoils. And then over time, I mean, I did this injury 10 years later and had it in my other leg and had it surgically repaired. But at the time, you would never, do surgery, perform surgery on muscles. So we let it heal over the summer. And as soon as it had healed, and when I say healed, wherever they had recoiled to, they just stuck, one near behind my knee and one in my arse cheek somewhere. So I was basically running on 2 hamstrings in my right leg and 3 in my left from 19 and a half years of age onwards.
Wow.
So I was, right after that, you can imagine, I mean, I'm a third down in the power that I can generate, speed that I can generate. And then when you think you're pushing, the force you're pushing off one compared to the other over time, then that shear and that different, power that you're creating then starts giving you an imbalance, and you start getting groin injuries and thigh injuries and calving, and everything starts bloody going. And that's what happened. So, as soon as I came back, I was then starting to get small little hamstring tears. And that happened for a few years. And then all of a sudden it stopped. But why did it stop? Because I was running slower. I wasn't, I couldn't run, and my body was like tearing every time I sprinted.
Full pace.
I didn't have the power to cope with it in my right leg. So basically after that, the only way I could get through games was to not run as fast. So inevitably from 19 and a half years of age onwards, I was slowing down. Now that reached its peak when you're about to retire when you're 33. But at 20, I'm probably 10% slower than I was at 21. I was probably 15% slower. At 22, I was probably 20% slower. And that gradually, so I could still perform high level when I was winning a Ballon d'Or at 22 years of age. I was still only probably 10%, 15% or whatever down on speed.
Yeah.
But over time, that gradually got worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. Hence, my performance got worse and worse and worse.
Yeah. Do you think you would have gone on to win more
Ballon d'Ors?
If you wasn't declining?
Probably not. Secretly, I might think yes, but probably not for the purpose of saying it. No, but genuinely, you've got Ronaldo and Messi, who are 2, from a different planet, aren't they? So I was winning a Ballon d'Or when, it was possible to win one, but I don't think anybody can reach the level of Messi and Ronaldo over, the sort of the 10 years, 15 years later. So probably not. Would I have won more golden boots in the Premier League? Almost definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I won one at 17 in my debut season. I won one I won it again the next year at 18 in my second season. I mean, you'd be foolish to think I wouldn't have won that many, many times and, got different records. But Ballon d'Ors probably would have been difficult.
So, saying that, I've heard John Terry and Rio talk about top defenders in the Premier League, not at the level that they used to be, in their opinion. Would you agree with that? When you had the likes of John Terry playing Rio Ferdinand, do you think there's defenders that are on the same?
I mean, I probably would agree with it, but I wouldn't just say defenders.
Okay.
I would just say across the board, the profile of a footballer has changed.
Okay.
I think, I could argue that, midfielders then as well.
Well, you played with some great midfielders.
Well, exactly. I mean,
Scholes.
You name better ones than Scholes and Gerrard and Lampard and Yaya Toure and Roy Keane and Vieira. And is there any better now in the Premier League than?
So would you say that you think the standards dropped?
No, I just think it's
different.
The profile is different now, and I think it's very much an athlete's game.
Yeah.
You go further forward. We spoke about defenders already. We then moved forward to the midfielders. Now, look at the centre forwards. Like, the centre forwards in my generation, I mean, it pales into, who now would be, of course, Haaland is exceptional, but, if I just rattled off the top of my head the players that played, just English, let's say, you've got your Shearers, your Sheringhams, your Ian Wrights, your Les Ferdinands, your Robbie Fowlers, your Andy Coles, your Michael Owens, your Chris Suttons, your Dion Dublins, your Stan Collymore. I mean, I've just named 10 off the top of my head and I've probably missed half a dozen.
Yeah.
The 9th person I said was Dion Dublin. The 8th person I said was Chris Sutton. Golden Boot winners. I mean, scoring 20-odd goals in a season. What English play... If they're the 8th in line back then, or 9th in line, like Andy Cole scoring 30 goals most seasons, Robbie Fowler scoring 30 goals, they hardly got a kick for England.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're scoring 10 goals for England now, sorry, in the Premier League now and you're English, you're in the England squad.
Yeah.
I mean, where is the depth? So, and that's just English. Let's start looking at other players, the Henrys, the Bergkamps, the Zolas, the Hasselbanks, the Drogbas, I mean, come on, where are they? Like, you can't tell me now. And that goes for defenders, it goes for midfielders, it goes for attackers. Nowadays, it's more of an athlete's game. You need to do the yards. Players like a Zola, a Bergkamp, a Letitia, a Cantona. Do you think that those players, they're absolute geniuses that graced the pitch and made people pay the entrance fee alone to watch them? Do you what would if they were here now? What would they get a game? I probably think not. Would Cantona and Letitia get a game? I mean,
Why do you think that is?
Because they can't do the yards. They can't. You only got the ball 50% of the time in a football match. And how can you not? I mean, how can you not?
Is that because the game's changed so much as well?
The game's changing.
Yeah,
it's an athlete's game.
It's a lot quicker now.
It's quicker. It is quicker.
It's not as physical.
No,
I don't think.
No, it's not. The pitches are getting obviously harder. The balls are getting faster. The pitches get wet. So everything is made for speed because that's what's beautiful on the eye. That's what sells. That's why everybody watches the Premier League around the world because we're getting faster. And, as I say, everything is made for more speed. And the players got to keep up with all that. And you will now probably turn a blind eye to somebody that's got an average touch because they can run an extra kilometre in a game. So we're getting more athletes, and I'm not generalising. I'm sorry, I am generalising. I'm not. Obviously, there are some players now with great touch and our athletes. They're the superstars.
Yeah.
But in general, if you could play, if you're Matt Letitia, let's say, just use him as an example, or Zola or Cantona, like that would outstrip anything. Your touch, your ability, your quality, your genius.
You was in the team for that.
That would outstrip anyone. Can he run? It doesn't matter when he's got a touch like that. When he can, that was the attitude. Now it's like, well, can he run? Well, he has to run. Has he got a touch? Oh, right, okay, he's got a chance then.
Yeah,
it's different.
Okay, I'm just going to interrupt this podcast. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. So you played with Scholes and Gerrard. Which one would you prefer to have in your team?
Gerrard.
Gerrard's
a freak. Gerrard's just like, he can do anything. He's just too big and too strong and too fast and too powerful. I mean, he can head it, he can pass, he can score, he can create, he's got vision, he can tackle. There is nothing that he can't do. If I'm going into the World Cup final tomorrow, the players I play, the first person I'm picking alongside me is Steven Gerrard.
Unbelievable.
He was, yeah. I mean, he was.
Best player you played with?
I mean, for football, for quality, it was Zinedine Zidane.
Okay.
I mean, for looking at the past, it was R9. I played with R9 when he was towards the end of his career, but I mean, at the start of his career, he's greater than anything I've ever seen. I mean, if he had kept that going without injuries, then I think we would have been saying that he's the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
I mean, those first 4 or 5 years of his career was just, I mean, I was a kid watching it on telly, and I thought, if that's the level I have to get, I thought I was going to be like top class. I thought I was going to definitely play in the Premier League. But then I watched him and thought, wow, if that's the level, I'm a conference player. And that's how nervous he made me. And there's only a couple of players that made me feel like that. And when I watched Henry as well, I thought, right, well, when he came to the Premier League, I thought that's the last Golden Boot I'm ever going to win. There's certain players that I thought, I can do that. But when I saw Ronaldo, when I saw Henry, I just thought, wow, they're from a different planet.
Who did you hate playing against?
Anyone that was quite like the smaller centre halves, the quicker centre halves, like the Puyols, the Keowns. When Gary Neville used to play centre half, then really, because I like to play against the big ones. They couldn't turn as quick as me. They weren't as quick off the mark. I wasn't going to challenge them in the air anyway. I'll let you win that. Go on. But when the ball's on the floor, then. And of course, a lot of them are very clever as well. You get the ball and they protect themselves and they keep the fullbacks back and they get a sitting midfielder in front of them and all the rest of it. So they protect themselves. But if I isolated anyone, it would have been, a big one. I want the big ones. Yeah, I didn't really like playing against the small, quick ones. I mean, Marcel Desailly was a big lad, but he was quick and strong as well. He was as good a defender as I've ever played against.
Yeah. Just going on to a bit more present stuff. Liverpool this year, do you think the title's still in reach for them, or do you think that they're going to miss out this year?
Well, I mean, it's likely they'll miss out, but I still think it's within reach. I mean, they played really poorly against Manchester City. I covered the game. But they have put in performances this season that took your breath away. I mean, that performance against Real Madrid, I know it was only 1-0. It could have been 4, though. I mean, it was as good a performance. They were absolutely brilliant. For a half against Villa, they were brilliant. They beat Arsenal, at Anfield. They're not playing badly consistently. I mean, and look at the teams that they got beat against. I mean, they got beat against Manchester United, but Liverpool were the best team. They got beat against Chelsea. It was in the last kick of the game. I mean, it could have gone either way. It was a great game. They played well.
Yeah.
They got beat against Man City. Well, who,
Man City played well.
Man City at the Etihad. It's not like they're getting beaten by mugs all the time. Now, they have been beaten a couple of times where you think, oh, yeah, the performance was pretty poor. I mean, Galatasaray in the Champions League was a poor performance. And I'm not dressing it up. They're not consistent. They're not at their best. But it's not like they're playing badly. They are, you can still see they're a great team in patches in certain games. It's just the consistency. So they're not out of it yet. They're playing well enough in patches in certain games to suggest that they can go on a big run. They just need that consistency. Now, how many points? They're about 8 points behind. They've got to get a wriggle on, and they need Arsenal.
Who do you think will win it if it's not them?
Arsenal.
You don't think they'll fall down?
I don't really know. No, I think they're quite a consistent team. I've been quite baffled, actually, by the way people talk about them. I mean, people talk about them as if, every Premier League team comes from last one year and wins it the next. I mean, Leicester did. But, when Man City have won loads of times, how many times did they come second or third before they won it? Liverpool have won 2 titles in the last sort of 6 years or whatever it is. How many times did they come second before that? And now it's Arsenal's turn. They come second 3 times. No one just, as I say, Leicester apart. No one just goes and wins it. I mean, Arsenal last year, they did better than any other British team in the Champions League. Got to the semi-finals of Champions, came second in the league. They were absolutely brilliant all season. They've got more points in the last 3 years than any team in the Premier League. I mean,
I think it's just the supporters.
Their supporters. Incredible. And I hope they get what they wish for.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to see, obviously, Liverpool winning it. But, I mean, if they think, if Arteta doesn't win it this year, if we come second and things like that, then, wow, really be careful what you wish for. Because they're probably going to win the league this year. And they'll say nothing and they'll, it's fantastic. But really, do they deserve it after, half of them are thinking he should be sacked? I mean,
it's madness.
It's madness.
Yeah, it's madness.
Madness. They've built something from Wenger where obviously towards the end it started crumbling down a little bit. They were way off it, and gradually he's got better and better and better. That team now, his signings, the team, the way they play, the efficiency, there's some unbelievable play. That's a proper team.
Yeah,
I mean, they are.
I did hear some wild things from some supporters where I heard that they believe that they've got the best defence in the world at the moment. Would you agree with that?
Well, they probably have. But the team is shaped to defend.
Yeah.
Like, if you put that Arsenal defence into the Liverpool team and say, right, now go and defend, they'll concede a hell of a lot more because Liverpool are built to attack.
Yeah.
They leave 2-on-2 at the back all the time. They always have, like Trent used to fly up the right wing, Robertson on the left wing. They had players going everywhere. They were just built to attack. They would win. They'd score more goals and But Arsenal aren't built like that. They're built to defend, and they've got good defenders, don't get me wrong, but they don't expose themselves. And they'll always... What winds me up when people look at football is they look at a defence, or they look at the numbers and say, right, they've conceded 6 goals this season, and they've conceded 15. That means they're better players than that, or they've got a better defence.
Yeah.
It's just not that simple. I mean, as I say, I'm taking 2 extremes. I'm taking Liverpool, that team is built to attack, and they expose the life out of their defence and always have done. And if they didn't have 2 players like they've got that are so quick, so strong, they would concede million. But they have, and they can afford to do it, but they put a lot of strain on the likes of Canate and Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Now, if you said to me, who's the best pairing, Canate and Van Dijk, or the Arsenal 2, I'm not sure who I'd pick there. I mean, both pairs are unbelievable, but Arsenal have got 2 fullbacks that don't stray as far as Liverpool's. They've got midfielders that are much more protected.
Defensive, yeah.
Listen,
So as a whole, they're a better defensive team. I see what. Yeah,
of course they are, but they're
if
not,
you
but
look
they're
at
not
it
as
the
exciting
four,
when they go forward.
If you look at the 4
Yeah.
at the back versus other 4s, I wouldn't say that they're the best individual 4 in the world.
their team are the best defensively.
Yeah.
Because when they go forward, they don't take your breath away, do they?
No.
Because they don't commit like loads and loads of players. Whereas Liverpool, Man City, they can take your breath away going forward. But Arsenal's team are not built for that. They're built to be efficient. They're built, really, their strength is at the back. So they utilise that, and I don't blame them. But to just say, oh, they've got a great defence and not very good going forward is just very base. That's just purely looking at a couple of sets of numbers and make an assumption without even watching.
Yeah. Obviously, you done the transfer from Liverpool out to Spain. Rashford's gone from United out to Spain. Do you think it was a good move for him?
Cool. Not half.
Yeah. What does it do for you when you...
Well, where was his career going without him?
Yeah.
You know, what a talented player he was, but it was quite painful for even for a neutral, like to see, to know how good he was. He scored loads of goals a few seasons ago, and then to see sort of almost, and he looked sad and upset and, you know, not performing well, and then he went on loan to Villa, and obviously, with all due respect, I know in general you would say, well, Villa have done better than Manchester United in the last year or two, but in general that's a step down from Manchester United. And then Villa didn't take him, and you thought, oh my word, where's the next step down for somebody of his capability? Surely he can't go back to Manchester United because that's not, that just doesn't look palatable for anybody. And then for Barcelona to come in, almost like a lifesaver, wasn't it? It was amazing.
What causes that in players to dip so?
I don't know. I mean, listen, I had a dip or a gradual dip in my career, but it's quite obvious for everyone to see that, injuries catch up with you and you're not quite. But I mean, when I look at players that have had incredible dips and you think how and why, I look at Rashford, I look at Torres.
Yeah.
When he went from Liverpool to Chelsea. He just looked, he went from being unstoppable to, oh my word.
Just fell to bits.
Absolutely. Sanchez going from Arsenal to Man United. Alexis Sanchez, remember? I mean, he was the player of the year twice. He was the best player in the Premier League. He went to Manchester United. He looked like he'd never kicked a ball before. It was incredible, the drop-off. And sometimes, and I'm not sure, why any of those happened. Obviously, a couple of them were transfers. Yeah. Went from... Could they not? But they both played in the league. There was no real reason to see a drop-off like it. And Rashford was very similar. Had such a high. I can't remember his numbers when he had that one season where he scored 30-odd goals. But he was incredible. And he is incredible. He's got so much skill and pace and everything about him. But to have that drop-off, everybody was scratching their heads as to why. And
it's got to be something to do with the person falling out of love with where they're at or something like that.
It could be anything.
Could be anything,
It could be anything. But from the outside, they're 3 examples off the top of my head that I thought, wow, they're huge drop-offs. And almost drop-offs that you can't explain from such a high level to such a low one.
100%, yeah. And the 3 that you've just named are the 3 stand out. I mean, Torres, when he went from Liverpool to Chelsea.
Mad.
That was madness.
I mean, at Liverpool...
He actually looked like a lost centre-forward.
Yeah, at Liverpool, he was outrageous.
Couldn't stop scoring.
Unbelievable. And then... But there was a little bit of a curse at Chelsea at the time, wasn't there? After Drogba, I mean, they went for so many great centre forwards.
Good forward.
They could, no one could do
replace
it.
him.
But they spent fortunes and got the very best. I mean, when you look Falcao's and Crespo's and all kinds of great strikers, Mutu, they spent fortunes on, and anyway, there's loads of them, Costa, but they couldn't really replace him. And Torres was another one who was almost like a graveyard for centre forwards going to Chelsea at that time.
Yeah, just going back, let's talk about Real Madrid and the Ballon d'Or, because obviously it's massive. Real Madrid current star, I think I get his name right. I call him Vincent. Obviously thought he was going to win the Ballon d'Or 2024. But Rodri beat him to it.
Yeah.
What did you make of that?
Well, at the time, I would have voted for Vinicius Junior.
Yeah,
but I wasn't horrified by Rodri getting it. I mean, he won the Champions League, scored the win in the final. I mean, his Spain national team were absolutely incredible as well. So, and he was generally regarded as the best six, the best number, best sitting midfielder in the world at the time. He was incredible. So I was, and the thing is, loads of people get all knickers in a twist about, the voting for the Ballon d'Or. But it's not voted by fans, or it's not voted by, referees or anybody. It's voted by, captains, managers, like lots of people within the game that watch a lot of football, that play a lot of football, that are, that do all these things. So it's a very fair voting process. As it happened, I would have just shaded with Vinicius Junior. But Rodri got the vote, and as I say, I wasn't offended at all by it. It was
it's
very
about
close.
opinions, isn't it?
Absolutely,
that's
and both of
both
of them had great seasons.
And then obviously Real Madrid boycotted going to the event the year after. What did you make of that?
Not ideal, not good. As I say, if it was one person's vote, then you could start questioning things. But this is done in a very, very fair and open and transparent way with a lot of the stakeholders in the game, and as I say, players and managers and things like that. So I think there's always a little bit of an uproar, always. Whoever wins the Ballon d'Or, but I think it's voted fairly. It was certainly voted very fairly in 2001.
Yeah. Going back to your career and obviously coming to the end of your career, you explained you felt like it started coming down, at the back end when you was 22. How did you handle that pressure? Not pressure, but how did you handle that moving forward? Because you're right at the peak. You've won your Ballon d'Or, and then you can feel it yourself that you're deteriorating and you're not as quick, not as powerful as you was. Was it a challenging time?
Yeah, that was horrid, to be honest. Listen, it didn't happen overnight. It was a gradual process of just slowly losing your powers. But like anybody, I would like to think would be able to relate to it.
Yeah.
In their own life, if they were once good at something and then they try to do it again and they feel as if they can't, it's frustrating. But when it's being watched by millions and millions around the world, and when it's your job, and when it's something that you're doing every day, and you know that your brain is telling you can do this, and you're just slightly off it, and then you can't do it, and it's pretty painful, not for your body but for your mind.
Frustrating as well.
Very, very, yeah. And I'm wired to be at that elite level, and as I say, when I got into the team at Liverpool at 17, you only have to see what I achieved quickly. As I say, back-to-back golden boots, came fourth in the Ballon d'Or at 18, won the Ballon d'Or, second youngest ever, won all those trophies at Liverpool at 21. Everything happened to go into the World Cup in 98 and doing what I did for England. All of these things happened to me so early. So I was an elite sort of player, but had an elite mindset as well. And then when you aren't that anymore, it's hard to mentally work around that. I mean, I take my hat off to a player that can drop down the divisions just for the love of football to go and play in the Championship, and then to go and play in Division 1 when they're 38, just because they still love it and don't want to let go. I mean, I absolutely take my hat off, but that is so opposite to how my brain works. If I'm about to play chess with you now, if after 5 minutes I'm thinking he's going to beat me here, why do I want another hour of pain while you slowly kill me? Do you know what I mean? It's just, I know oh my word, he's too good for me now. And that was me in the, at 25, 26, 27. It's like, oh no, if I came up against a good centre half, I could no longer just knock it past them and sprint past them and treat them with no respect and disdain and everything. That's what my brain tells me I can do when I step over onto a pitch. And I'm in my office now, and this is my domain, and I can run past, and whether you like it or not, I'm better than you. And that's how I felt. But when you're 26 and 27 and you're knocking it past players that you think, oh my word, I could have walked past you 5 years ago, and now I'm struggling to get back. In fact, you're now running past me. Like, your brain is telling you something that you can do, but you can't. You almost, and then Paul Scholes will get the ball, and you think, right, automatic reaction, sprint over. Oh no, you can't. Don't do that. Come short. If you sprint, you'll snap your hamstring. So your instinct is telling you one thing, and a split second later, the reality, what's happening in your brain, is telling you the other. And that's quite an annoying or a painful or a depressing or a whatever word you want to use, probably them all, thing to have to conquer for
Was it a tough decision hanging the boots up in the air?
Well, no, that made it absolutely easy. Yeah, that was the beauty
just because of the way that you are.
Oh, if I could have retired earlier, I would have. There was like pressure from my family, and I was still at Manchester United, and I could still come on and score, and still, I still had moments in me whereby you put the ball by, like now, put the ball by me, I can still knock it in the corner, I'm still, but getting there, and that's the hard thing. So, no, that the beauty of all that, of what happened in my career is it made retiring absolute piece of cake. It was actually a relief. And I retired early. I was only 33. But that was the one bonus that came out of almost sort of having that slow regression in my career.
Are you like that in all walks of life? You have to be the best at what you do? Or is it because you're just naturally gifted and you're so
No, I am a little bit stupid like that, I suppose. I mean, I don't feel as I have to be the best. That's quite an ignorant and arrogant thing to say. But I mean, no, I have to feel as if I'm, respected or whatever. I mean, in my business now, I mean, it's the most stupid thing I've ever done, but I'm doing it and I'm not looking back, and I'm going to achieve. But
what is it that you're doing now?
So I set up a racing stables. It's my passion. It always has been. When I was 22, bought a farm, converted it into a racing stables, thought, well, this would be brilliant. I love it. I'll have 10, 15, 20 horses trained here, try to get a few mates involved. That'll pay a few of the staff wages, and, it should just tick along as a nice business that I'll get a lot of pleasure out of. But obviously that doesn't happen. You get to 26 and 27, 28, and you start improving the business and improving the facilities, and more people join, and you have success. And fast forward 22, 23 years, and now we're training 145 horses. We're probably one of the best facilities in the country. I've probably got one of the best, I have got one of the best trainers in the country. We're respected. We're sort of in the top 18 now in the country in terms of results. We're having winners all over the world.
It's all racing, horse racing.
All flat horse racing. So, but that all comes with huge risk. I mean, it's like being a chairman of a football team. It's all right buying the club, but then you've got to buy the players, and the fans demand this. So, it's just a total drain on everything. But we're building such a good, solid, strong business now that actually it's starting to really work from a business point of view. So my passion has almost driven me to that. And I couldn't just sit still, just being, taking part like I did in the first 5 years. Now I want to be at the...
But I'm involved with that on a day-to-day?
Sure, yeah. That's my life, yeah. But I'm competing people that are digging oil out the ground every 5 minutes. I can't afford it, so I have to do it in a different way. Okay. So I have to get out there. I have to meet people. I have to entertain. I have to, I need investment from outside in terms of my playing team, my football team.
To bring your players in.
Exactly,
horses in,
set the horses in. So we train horses, 145. I mean, I'd say 8 of them are mine. Okay. But the other 137 are clients, and I've got to keep those clients and make them happy, and we've got to have we've got to win
results,
and we've got to get the next one and the next one. So and the only way I can win overall is to probably get 250 horses, but I need big owners for that. So it's always a big challenge, but I absolutely love it. It keeps me going. And
is that the only other business that you're involved with?
It is. It is in terms of business. Yeah, I have investments and bits and bobs like that, but no, that's all encompassing.
Talking about investments outside of football, if you had 100 million to invest into something, what would you invest into?
Not into horse racing, but what would I invest into? Good question. Well, I would definitely spread it around.
Yeah.
Obviously risking all of that would be silly. I mean, stocks, shares, I'd probably, safe bet.
Would you look at property at all?
Property, definitely. I'm probably top heavy in property at the minute. But the problem is I bought a lot of houses right at the outset when I first came into a bit of money for my family. So it was all news at the time. But I bought a street of new houses. And to this day, I bought them when I was about 19. So 26 years later, my mum and dad live in the first one, my brother in the next one, my brother in the next one, my sister in the next one. So we've got a full street
nice.
in the village that we were brought up in, which was lovely to do. But obviously that means I'm a little bit heavy in property. And then if you've got anything else as well, your own house and a place abroad or whatever you've got, then all of a sudden your property portfolio can be quite top heavy. So yeah, I mean, stock, shares. I mean, my son is right into all this trade and gold and different currencies and things like that. He's not into the crypto just yet, which sounds quite volatile. So yeah, he's always on at me to invest some into him, but I want to see more evidence before I start doing that.
And going back to the horse stables, manor house stables, your family's involved with that as well. Your daughter, because your daughter interviewed my little girl at the Horse of the Year show the other week, because my little girl's into horses as well. She does show jumping.
Wonderful.
So
yeah. I mean, if I'm honest, it's been me right from the outset. Okay. But now the kids are getting older, they're taking much more of an interest. Yeah. They, of course, love the days out at the races. Yeah. We go to Ascot, we go to Chester races, we go to Glorious Goodwood and all the rest of it. It's fantastic. My eldest daughter, Gemma, she's always been into the horses. She's represented Great Britain for 9 years at dressage. Yeah. She's off the team at the moment. It's obviously a lot harder the older you get, because then you're into open company. My youngest daughter, Jessica, she's the opposite. She's into show jumping, and she's really making a good fist of that at the moment. So that's definitely the life she's going to pursue. My two middle kids, Emily's more into her. She wants to be a sports psychologist, so she's in sixth form at the moment, and then she's probably going to go to Liverpool Uni. Yeah. And my son James, he's into all his trading and whatever day to day, but he loves the stables. He loves Manor House. He loves coming and understanding the costs of everything. How much is a bale of hay? How much is the feed? Why don't you give them 4 bales of hay instead of 5 in their bedding and save this amount of money? He loves the business side of it and the social side of it. He knows all the owners and things like that. So, and my wife, she's really interested as well. So yeah, it's a great business. It's very sociable, and bit by bit the family are coming on board.
What's next for you?
I think growing Manor House is absolutely the core of everything I do. The kids are getting older now. The kids are all at home still, but that won't last long. I mean, they're 22 and 19 and 18 and 15, no 16. So they're all sort of growing up fast. So I don't know what will happen at home. That dynamic will start changing. But Manor House will continue to grow, hopefully. I love my work, the day-to-day stuff. Obviously, I work on the television for the Premier League, and I do enjoy that a lot. It gets great exposure around the world, and they're the sort of family, work, and Manor House stables are the three things.
You spend some time in the Middle East as well.
Yeah, I do. We like holidaying. We like the Middle East for holidaying.
Do you do business in Dubai at all, property-wise?
Not really.
No.
I wish.
Have you looked at it?
I've had properties over time.
Yeah. And you say you wish because of the market at the moment?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you'd been in it right from the start and stayed in it, you'd be sitting quite pretty, wouldn't you? Yeah. But it's, I mean, it's incredible that like we holiday there twice a year in Dubai, and you always think, oh, the money I'm spending in hotels and whatever, I should just get something. But then you look at the price of the places that you'd want to have a place, and it's just fall off your chair when you look at it. So, so you just think, well, if I want to be in this type of area when I come away on holiday, then the only option, I suppose, unless you're going to go and spend 20 million quid on some apartment, then.
Well, look, Michael, it's been a pleasure having you on. For the listeners, youngsters out there, have we missed anything that you'd have liked to cover? Is there anything that you'd have liked to have answered or spoke about that I've missed?
I think you've covered my career in some decent detail there. I mean, any listeners out there, I think it's. I think what I've been very lucky with in my life is that I've been able to do what I've wanted to do, what I've, I always dreamt of being a footballer. That then, fortunately, enabled me to follow my next dream, which was obviously having a racing stables. So, that didn't just fall on my lap. That was something that I could afford. So I've been fortunate there. But having things, I mean, it's a long life if you're doing something you don't really enjoy. And I just think that, every day I used to wake up as a footballer and was excited about playing football, training, seeing a lad scoring a goal, making people happy. Every day I wake up now, I'm thinking how to improve Manor House, how to, get the next owner in, what horse race we're going to win next, etc. I mean, I'm genuinely get up excited. I bounce out of bed. And I think if you can, that's a key to life. If you enjoy what you're doing, then you'll live a happy life.
But one thing I take away, guys, from the whole interview with Michael Owen is it's about dedication and it's about hard work and follow your passion. So, look, it's great to have you on. Really, really appreciate your time and great guest. We're going to wrap it up. Thanks for listening. We will have some more exciting guests. This one's going to be tough to follow. But, yeah, thanks for coming on, Michael.
Appreciate it.
My pleasure.